everyone, welcome to the Evil Empire. I'm your host, Evil Empire, and this week's feature is Mono Black Snow. And this is a deck that I think has been around in Historic for quite some time, basically since the addition of Thoughtseize. The deck is patterned after a mono black aggro deck that was popular in Pioneer, that also ran Thoughtseize, a bunch of cheap creatures, a few threats at the top end, and just kind of some removal in the middle to make things work and to kind of push through damage, get rid of your opponent's threats as needed. I think this deck has a lot of potential and has continued to be a big player in the format. You do see the snow variant predominantly now. I think I've only run into one mirror where I was playing somebody who was just playing regular swamps, and like for Phyrexian Obliterator and that kind of thing. So the deck has a lot of proven track record in the format. We also did another video on it in the series, so if you want to go back and check that out, I think I called it Black Snow, this time mono black aggro, and I've rebuilt the deck in a more sensible way. Instead of trying to use Blood on the Snow to get back something like a Liliana, this time just going for the straight aggro threats at the top end. Spawn of Mayhem is nice against pretty much everybody. A little bit tricky in the mirror because you're probably going to be facing an opponent who has a lot of removal like you do. But overall, Spawn of Mayhem is kind of the workhorse of the deck and really gets the job done in the late game. Rankle is our follow-up after our opponent has swept our board, so it's a great card against control decks. Rankle's going to struggle a little bit against anybody who has reach blockers or flying blockers, because he only has 3 power, 3 toughness, so he's not going to get through a whole lot of big flyers. But definitely someone who rocks against control, can get you those last few points of damage after a sweeper. Murderous Rider is a great inclusion in this. I was initially a little bit skeptical of this particular adventure because it's not one that has a lot of proven track record in Standard, but I think a Hero's Downfall that you lose 2 life for is going to be definitely worth it in this deck. You want to be able to clear out your opponent's threats, and you want to be able to push damage with it. Holding it up on your opponent's turn is a great thing to do if you have the time for it, but a lot of times you don't because you're just trying to curve out. Skyclave Shade, another really all-star card against control. This slot is a flex slot between Skyclave Shade, and you could also easily run Scrap Heap Scrounger in the same spot. Does a similar thing, kind of a recursive 3 power threat that can't block. Now with Scrounger, you have to have another creature in the graveyard. You have to exile that creature out of the graveyard, which can be a little bit tricky given that we want to recur those creatures a lot of the time. So that's why I'm leaning towards Shade, which keys off the land and can also have the mode of being a bigger attacker, which Scrounger never has. So I don't know. This is a tricky one. I end up boarding Skyclave Shade out a lot. You'll see that it is one of the cards I chiefly board out. So something to think about. Heartless Act is a 3 of. Then the suite of 1-drops are 4 Dread Wanderer, 4 Gutter Bones, 4 Knight of the Ebon Legion, and then rounded out with a few discard spells. In the mana base, we have a couple of Castle Lochthwain. We have 4 Faceless Haven, which is really the whole payoff for going snow. We don't have other snow payoffs in the deck, just Faceless Haven more than enough. A lot of times you'll be able to, activate Haven and then do something else like a Heartless Act mid-combat once you've declared Faceless Haven, because the crazy thing about Haven is that it's, for some reason, still has Vigilance. So that is the deck. And I am going to play this in best of 3, so I'll just very briefly go over my sideboard choices for the deck. Here you can see I have Fatal Push as a 2 of in the board, 1 Shadow Spear, 2 Doomblade, 2 Legion's End, 2 Duress, 2 Ray of Enfeeblement, 2 Regisaur, 2 Leyline, so basically all 2 ofs except for the Shadow Spear is a 1 of. So those are kind of the removal suite that I'm working with in the board. Ray of Enfeeblement is supposed to be for the Angels matchup. I don't see Angels a lot in best of 3 though, so I'm thinking about maybe taking out the Ray of Enfeeblement, although it has been pretty good for me against just other general creatures, and especially like, let's say, something that might otherwise be a little bit tricky to kill if you don't have a Heartless Act. Something like can kill like a Yasharn, for example. Doesn't quite get a Yorion, but if you were able to like do a combat trick with Yorion. Regisaur is against Phoenix, pretty great, pretty unkillable against Phoenix. And then Leyline is our sort of graveyard hate card. So that is mono black aggro in Historic. let's take it into the best of 3 ranked queue. I'll give it a try. I mean, this is probably unwise, but yeah, alright, no land there. So new build of goblins. I guess I'll take the Battlecry Goblin. They have double Snoop, so there's really not much point in trying to take one of those. So just gonna have the other one, same effect. Alright, so we know they have one Muxus. Alright, there's second Muxus, so no point in thought seizing. We'll just keep Inquisition against their hand. Kind of in a bit of a sticky wicket, not drawing land there. But just keep Inquisitioning, I guess. I don't know. Third Muxus and a conspicuous Snoop off the top. Alright, second land is a Haven, so just, I guess, kill something on board. We know they're not gonna be playing Krenko because we know they're drawing Muxus, not land, so. Have mercy. 4 Muxus. So, yeah. Not going my way this time. Alright, so they ramp there, and then tower means they have it next turn, right? Yeah. Pretty much if they, well, I guess if they had another land drop. They do have this Krenko, so I guess we'll take that at least. No attack. Yeah, that's it. They do have it. They do have it. Alright, we know they're hitting Matron, so... Wow. That'll do. We'll go to game 2. We know they're an Ironcrag Feet Muxus deck, so... Bring in the Regisaurs, I guess, but... this is just a really tough matchup. Regisaurs, Fatal Pushes... Doom Blades, a Duress for the Ironcrag Feet. Get rid of the Murderous Riders because it was just not going to do it. Down on Shades because this is not that kind of matchup. It's not that grindy. I don't really have much here otherwise. I guess Thoughtseizes can go because the Inquisition is not doing much for me. I just leave Thoughtseize in to get Muxus. Yep. Put it back. No, keep it. Gosh. Alright. Well, at least we have 2 lands this time. Here's Gutter Bones. Just why? Why? Welcome to Best of 3, where the misery is just as real as it is in Best of 1. I guess I'll see if this does anything. Probably it doesn't. Alright, well, Goblins may be on the outs competitively, but it's still just fine on ladder. Get rid of Gutter Bones. Just get chumped with Reggie. Bringing a Reggie was a bad idea. Showing no quality here. Probably would be better if this was Phyrexian Obliterator here. Alright, so just hardcast the spawn. And feel pretty rotten about it. So, Snoop finds a Snoop. Discard. Rankle. attack. I'm not sure what modes on Rankle I'm going to choose here, but some of them. I mean, I'm going to choose some of them. Wow, opponent just not blocking. I find that hard to believe. Yeah, okay, there we go. It's bad for me that they considered not blocking. Like, that's what's the issue here. Alright, what Rankle modes do I want? I mean, they have such a full hand. I don't know that grid discarding is going to do much, but it's like a mode that I can choose. Sack a Snoop and discard a card. The heck, just choose all of them. Get them as close to dead as I can here. They discard Krenko. I guess I'll discard Rankle. Or, sorry, sacrifice Rankle. Maybe it should have been Reggie, because Reggie's not getting in. Ugh, getting Muxus. Remember when everybody was afraid of this card last year? Alright, no haste enabler is the only thing that saves me there. Now I need to draw a card, and I need actually need to draw 2 cards somehow, and I need both of them to be Doomblade. So if you could help me out with that deck. No, just a land? Okay, yeah, tap. No, untap land, okay. I mean, I can attack here, but I'm just gonna lose. Like, it doesn't matter. Feeling like I'm pretty outmuscled here. We got Reggie on jump block duty against Muxus, and it's all very sad. I guess I'll leave up my Haven activation rather than play out this stuff. Which means, oh, I misplayed. I'm just going to lose this to Reggie now. That was a waste. Oh. Alright, what kind of dirty tricks are they going to find with Matron? So they've already got their 2 best cards here with Muxus and Krenko. Oh. Gem Palm Incinerator, really? It's got to be like that. Like, you have enough to kill it now. Just cycle it. Alright, you want to be extra sure it's dead? Sure, whatever. Opponent playing very carefully here, for whatever reason. Yeah, Gem Palm for like 10, yeah. It's not great. See, if I keep Rankle instead of Reggie, I'd be in better shape here. Amazing how one mistake can cost you. So I would have already had that 3 damage, actually. They would have been dead last turn, probably, if I keep Rankle. Instead of, silly little Reggie. Well, my first match in best of 3, not going great. That'll do. Yeah, this is a fine hand. Okay, so we're facing Jund. Take the Fatal Push, maybe? Not sure. Oh, okay. Well, I realized immediately that this is a mistake because now they just play the goose and get back the... Yeah. Alright, well, off to a bang-up start here. Thoughtseize and Dread Wanderer. Target the Corvold with the Thoughtseize. Probably should have just been Fatal Push all along, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing very well, apparently. So it doesn't feel great. Okay. So then set up to rankle next turn, but they can just, you know, use it as an opportunity to cycle the cat out of the oven. Or cat out of the graveyard, sorry. Yeah. Not looking great for me here. They just keep amassing food tokens. It's very bad for me. So now this is the trouble, is that the opponent can just gain a ton of life. Yeah, so they're just going to use this as an opportunity to cycle the cat out of the yard. They discard a Mayhem Devil? Huh. Maybe they have two. Alright, well this is where we really wish that we had taken... Yeah, they had a second one. Alright, I'm done. This is, yeah, we're out. We're out of it. Alright, so against them we're going to want definitely the ley lines. I'm also going to bring in the Legion's Ends, the Fatal Pushes, at least one of those, and one of Shadow Spear. Yeah, bring in the rest of the Fatal Push. Alright, Rankle and Murderous Rider, I think, are the cuts. At least Rankle, for sure, has to come out. Skyclave Shade might be another cut. And I think I want to keep all the 1-drops on the play. Board out like 2 or 3 Rankle, depending on what's needed. 3, okay. Get rid of 3 of them. Alright, let's see if I can take game 2. One lander, but we have a lot of game actions that we can take at 1 mana, like 5 of the spells in our hand. So we are content to be on 1 mana for a little bit, and we'll have some things to do. Let's start out with Thoughtseize. What do they have? Alright, so let's take Oven, because they can't get that back. Opponent drew a pretty good hand. It's going to take a lot to beat it. Alright, so I did draw land, but doesn't make the color that I want. I am going to get rid of Goose because they can Mayhem Devil next turn if I don't. I don't know that they would, but just playing a little carefully there. Okay, so they did not draw Oven. And I'm going to play out a Knight as well as a Gutter Bones. Opponent has the land? No. Okay. Alright, well, delaying Mayhem Devil another turn is about as sweet as we could hope for. Gonna crash in with everything here. Okay, actually, never mind, just the Knight. Don't pump it. Play some Spawn of Mayhem off the Spectacle. Don't draw land. 1 time. No block. Alright, they didn't draw land. I mean, this is about as good as it gets for me. Gonna Windmill Slam Leyline of the Void here. Maybe I'm not supposed to, but feels pretty good to be exiling cats here. You choose to block my Gutter Bones with your cat. It's going directly to the exile zone. Watch it go. Yep. They make the trade, but cat goes to exile. Fatal Push on Mayhem, Spawn of Mayhem. It's pretty bad. Okay, they draw a Goose, but no land. So, Heartless Act the Goose. Let's think about this. Let's attack first. See if they block. It's a good habit to make your plays after combat if you can. Opponent's thinking about blocking here, because they're so desperate. But they just can't, they need the mana. Alright, so then put this down and just actually hang on to Heartless Act for the devil. Yeah, I think that's what happens here. Yep, here comes Mayhem Devil. They are going to get one off of it. Wait, what? Ugh. Sometimes my bad plays are very tilting. Definitely should have killed the Mayhem Devil there. Really deserve to lose this match now that I've made an error like that. Alright, opponent down to 5, but I've made a pretty egregious error by not destroying the Mayhem Devil with the Heartless Act. So I'm feeling a little down on myself about that. And let's see if the opponent can capitalize with another land. Yep. So opponent uses the Fabled Passage. Come on up. No. Come on. Come on up. No, I can't convince. I'm trying to convince my cat to get her to come up. She wants to get picked up is what it is, I think. There she is. Hi, say hello to everybody. Ooh, the shiny eyes. Cat has the shiny eyes in the light. She's a little camera shy. Hey, say hi to everybody. Hi. Kitty wants to be on lap. Alright, so what? Activate Faceless Haven and win somehow? Weirdly? I did not deserve to win this game at all. Got the pump off the knight. Yeah, opponent's mad that I won it because I played so badly. Alright, any changes? I don't know. I don't think so. Do I want any of these? I don't think I do. Make any changes being on the draw. Think about it for a minute. These rays might be helpful in combat. Yeah, an Inquisition not doing much for me because everything they have just goes to the graveyard anyway and comes back. So, well, at least somebody's happy right here. This is our first appearance after 1 year of episodes. This was the cat's first appearance. So I've had this cat for about 10 years. Her name is Daphne, and yeah, we just sort of found her out in the wild when she was a very young kitten. Kept her and her bad temper all this time. Well, she could be purring right next to the microphone, so it'll be like ASMR. This has turned into a weird ASMR magic video. Alright, so double goose. I mean, it's not great for me, but I can attack through it. For whatever reason, my one drops have two power. Gutterbones is the follow-up. I guess I'll just hang on to Ray of Enfeeblement and maybe in hopes that... Yeah, I think I boarded that pretty poorly. I think that should have just stayed as Inquisition. Corvold on 3 lands. Are you kidding me? Alright, well, there goes that match. I mean, technically I can get in and get the Spectacle here, which I really need to do, but it's not gonna matter. His opponent just high-rolled their Corvold out on turn, whatever it was, turn 3. Yeah, okay, just have it all. Goodbye. Alright, so we got the old... Oh, what? What is this? Shuffler's fine, by the way. Oh, yeah, Shuffler totally fine. We got the old, finally a keepable hand. The old Diamond versus Platinum mismatch. Let's see if I can capitalize here. Makes sense that the cat would show up for the Mono Black episode, right? Come on. Her black kitty heart. Alright. Do I have to Heartless Act this? I guess I kind of do. Just it's such a roadblock. We need to be getting in here quick as we can. Yeah, alright. So triggered the Knight, felt good. Got the Knight up to a 2-3, and the rest of my board's looking pretty good. Okay, Call the Death Dweller is not the end of the world here, because we can just attack with these 3 power things. They're going to want to trade with the Knight. It's going to take our turn, but whatever. At least they'll be at 10, and it's fine. Not the greatest Call the Death Dweller I've ever seen. And Call has definitely gone underappreciated. It's not a card you see much. But ideally, I think you want to pair that 2-drop with a 1-drop to get some value, to get the extra value off the Call. It was a card that was like big with Loris when it came out, but not so much now. Alright, so trade there. Doesn't feel great, but alright, so they shock in for Phyrexian Blue. Okay, well, that's pretty good. I don't know if I can beat that, yeah. Don't think I can. So, go to game 2. Get those Fatal Pushes in here. We'll need those. Leyline. Shadow Spear will be good because this is a race. This is 2 aggro decks. Alright, I've got like 9 cards here. Probably don't actually need the Ray of Enfeeblement. You can just get rid of that. Alright, so it's actually only 7 cards. So cut the Inquisitions down by 1, 2, 3. Get rid of those. Get rid of Rankle. He's not great in this mirror. Cut him down at least. So, on the play, I've got Gutter Bones, I've got Shadow Spear, I've got 1 Heartless Act. And that equals a keep. That all equals a keep for me. So, lead on Gutter Bones. Opponent leads on tapped Agadeems. Sure. I'm gonna play out the Shade here and get a clock going. Now, next turn, yeah, I think it's just going to be a Heartless Act on that. Play out the Shadow Spear. remarkably similar to the last game. Let's hope this one ends a little better. Okay, Null Priest, but I'm not sure what that's doing here. Trading? Is that the idea? Just a trade? I mean, that's a pretty bad trade. Alright, so let's gain some life off the Shadow Spear. And the opponent will block the Skyclave Shade. And I'll play out another one. Okay, another Null Priest, and opponent does not make land drop. That's a big problem for your opponent. The opponent probably wants to make that land drop. Gonna equip it again to Skyclave Shade and put the opponent to 4. So it looks like I'm doing pretty well in this game. An Ayara? Okay. That's less than ideal. I think the line here is just activate Haven. Attack all. And win. Because no matter where they block, they take 6. And that's why Faceless Haven is a really good Magic card. Alright, so opponent did the math, figured it out. On to game 3. And I think for this one we're going to throw in the curve. We'll give him the old curve-a-rooney. Just be unpredictable. Try to be unpredictable in your sideboarding. Oh, she didn't like that. She did not like getting picked up. She's not a fan. Alright, so all the way out with Gutter Bones. And in with 1 Rankle. In 1 Duress. Yeah, that's a good curveball. Yeah, 1 Duress can get like a spell. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no, not up there. That's not a great place for kitties. Okay, this one is for the match. So we go to game 3. Yeah, this is fine. Lead on Dread Wanderer. Follow it up with Night Thoughtseize. Turn 3, have up Rider. Let's go through combat, yeah. Then lead on Thoughtseize. Okay, I think it's Eldest Reborn. And Knight. Alright, so I'm still not triggering the Knight's ability next turn. Looks like I'm going to be using the Rider immediately on Ayara. You don't see a lot of Ayara. Seems to be some kind of devotion-based build that was popular when Theros Beyond Death came out. So they've got the Gary here. Yeah, this is almost like okay, so that's pretty good. Like kind of a frozen in time sort of historic deck here because Rider and Knight. And then presumably next turn they're gonna Treacherous Blessing. Let's take Gary. I don't really feel like attacking through Gary. It's just gonna be a pain. I know I can activate Haven next turn, but it's like, let him draw the cards. I don't want to deal with Gary's body out there. Alright, so what to do? Attack for 6, down to 10. Knight. trigger the Knight's ability. Make it a 2/3. Could really use like a removal spell off the top. Would be great. Let's see, 5 + 4. I think I can put them to 1. If I draw a land, I can put them to 1 next turn. Alright, never mind. This game's gonna go on for a little longer. But Basil's Haven's gonna be pretty good when I activate it in next turn. As long as the opponent doesn't draw something big like an Obliterator, and, you know, that's certainly far from given. Opponent's on a lot of mana. 6 mana. It's actually not that good here. Now this is nice because the Vigilance lets me keep Skyclave Shade in the picture. Alright, so I don't have anything to discard. What's it gonna be, opponent? What's it gonna be? Tell us your choice. Let's see, Gary could come in, be kind of a pain. Another, yeah, this is kind of what I didn't want to have happen, right? Although, it's kind of interesting, like if they don't have removal spell, I can win. But they have to, you know, in other words, like I can win unless they have exactly Heartless Act. Fatal Push would also be a problem if they had it. Would not let me win this game, and I would just have to sack 5 permanents or 4 permanents and be sad. I could also rip a Heartless Act off the top. Fatal Push is not going to be a possible out. But if you just look at it in terms of raw life total, you know, if they're just holding like, you know, 3 swamps, I could win this through an Obliterator, because they're only at 3. And they really can't even cast any more spells. They need to survive to next turn so that Eldritch Reborn can bring back Gary. They can get a whole bunch of life. You know, they'll gain like 8 off that. But the problem is, yeah, they just really, they need to have exactly Heartless Act, and I don't know if they have it. The way that they're tanking right now tells me they don't have it. That's the thing with like a lot of inexperienced players, right? Is that the tell is that they tank for a long ass time. Alright, well it didn't end up mattering. Rip Rankle off the top like a boss. Finally. Match win. Yeah, this curve's fine. We'll go Dread Wanderer into Knight, into Spawn of Mayhem, draw nothing but swamps and lose. It'll be great. Let's do it. Looks to be Jeskai opponent, yeah. So search for Azcanta. There's the Dread Wanderer. And there's the Knight. Opponent puts Lapse into the yard with search. Tapped Steam Vents. Gonna guess they kill the Knight here so they don't have to worry about the pump. Yep. Alright, Haven goes down. Wanderer goes in. And Mayhem Devil is the play. As predicted. Beautiful handful of swamps. 4 snow-covered swamps. What more do you need? Just automatically win the game.
The past, present, and put thoughtfulness before
So we're gonna
action.
put Narsa to 1 with Wanderer and attack in with Spawn. This is very inefficient compared to activating Haven, but I think we need to do it. Get rid of Helix. Don't want you gaining life. No, no. Tisk tisk. We can't have that. Now, they do have the Field of Ruin.
You cannot see your folly.
For our Haven. But at least they don't have Helix for the Haven anymore. Alright, so they go Iteration. And then my guess is that they're going to put land into exile so they can activate Field. Okay, but it's tapped land, so we do get 1 attack with Field, with Basil's Haven. Opponent down to 13. Activate the Haven. Everybody goes in. Deal you a bunch here. Down to 3. Alright, so I do have Heartless Act up for what it's worth. Probably not that much. Opponent puts Island in the yard, flips his Kanta. Justice Strike on the Spawn. Alright, well, it's pretty bad. Let's get them to activate their Field on the Haven. Don't really have any use for the mana, but I can actually get extra mana this way. Alright, this at face. Man, Lightning Helix is such a card. Man, we almost had them. We had them at, what, 3? We had them at 3. I don't think we take game 1. Not anymore. I've seen enough. Go to game 2. Alright, take Duress. Take a couple of Void. And what's out? Maybe 1 Night. We need all the discard, but well, Inquisition doesn't really hit much. Alright, let's see if this is good against them, this Leyline. Alright, opponent mulliganed and kept a hand of 6. I submit Leyline of the Void. And Thoughtseize. Alright, it's a pretty good hand, but I think we'll take the Wrath. So this Shade comes down. Alright, I think I'm gonna Heartless Act the Shade so it doesn't get helixed. Alright, well, it's gonna be a short one. If I don't draw any land. Opponent is gonna use Prismari Command on the Wanderer. looking good for our hero. And they're just gonna play the steam vents, pay the life. Got the swamp. Play the shade. Gets lapsed. And then fairy. We can kill the fairy.
You know what?
But they'll get a card and a couple of untapped lands out of it. And it takes my whole turn to get rid of it. No. Why? Why is this deck so good? Dude, somebody should play this deck.
We need to move quickly.
Maybe they should play it 3 times in the course of a year, you know? Just saying. Yep. Teferi, too good. Oh my god, this is so annoying. Is it dead yet?
Let me know if you're up for round 2.
How did we fall so far behind? I think I took the wrong thing on that thought. What do you think?
To surrender now, keep an
Leave me your
open
thoughts
mind.
in the comments. How poorly I played that. Oh god, another iteration. So their hand is 5 cards now. 5 cards and 7 lands compared to my 3 lands. Yeah, so opponent does not care about Leyline. They probably also do not care about my spawn of a Mayhem. Always the strike.
I have just the trick for this.
Oh, God. And they get to hold up Decree. That's gross.
Let's slow this down.
That is fully gross. Yeah. Yeah, this is a keep. Go Knight into Shade. I think that is the way. Alright, opponent's on Godless Shrine, Godless Shrine. And they're going to come in with Inquisition to get the other Knight, I think. There's no point really in taking the Shade, because if they take that, I just play the land and replay it. So it's got to be the Knight here, because they can't take the spawn with the Inquisition. The other 2 options are just pretty garbage, so no need. Attack with Knight. Play a Shade. Let's see what they have. Okay, I'm glad I did this. Yeah, get rid of the Apparition. It's not the most mana efficient play, but it lets us keep Knight on the board. And, you know, Spawn of Mayhem is going to be taken by the Spellbinder, but we can still Spectacle it. Like, it won't be that much of a problem at 5 with the Spectacle. Alright, so threaten activation. Really? That seems like a poor choice. Opponent very interested in guarding their life total. Alright, well, Thalia would be a problem if we had any non-creature spells in our hand. And opponent gives up the ghost. Alright, so I'm going to bring in Legion's End. A couple of these Ray, maybe. These Doomblade, I don't think so. What out? Riders are not great here. If we're racing, paying the life matters more. couple of gutter bones and call it good. Yeah. This seems fine. It's probably going to be a knight into Skyclave Shade situation. Okay, I can get rid of that. Just leave knight until next turn. Cave of the Frost Dragon, Silver Quill Silencer. It's not one you see a ton. Put down Skyclave Shade. Okay, second silencer name's what? I'm incredulous. Second silencer naming Fatal Push. Okay, well, that's interesting. Interesting, but I could also just draw Legion's End like a boss. Now I'm gonna see your hand, and I'm gonna also Thought Seize it. I think I'm gonna take Spellbinder because that's the only creature that you got. So you're welcome to destroy and exile my creatures. They all come back because we're a black deck. Alright, so Shade's going to eat a Vanishing Verse, and they're going to hold up Push. Okay, I don't really understand that at all. But, you know, legal play. I would have exiled Shade so it didn't come back. Now it comes back and it's just destroyed. Yep, so we knew that we were getting the Fatal Push to our dome there, and oh yeah, just rip that land like a boss. Alright, so it's going to be everybody discard, everybody sack a creature. And I'll discard my other Rankle and sack Rankle on board. Good job, Rankle. You made only a guest appearance, but it was a fine one. Ooh, good time for them to draw land, and good time for us to draw next spawn. And that's game. Alright, end on a high note. And I'm back with Mono Black Aggro. So, I have to admit, I really enjoyed playing this deck as a best of 3 option. You know, on the 52nd episode, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I figured traditional style best of 3 would be something of a treat for me. Although I know most people really prefer best of 1, and that's the style of content that I've played up to this point. Every once in a while, I'm just going to do something crazy to kind of mix things up, and I'll throw in a best of 3 game for those that love it every once in a while. Best of 3 episode, sorry. So reflecting on kind of card choices in the deck, overall, I think the deck that Martin Yuza put together for, I think this was actually pre-AFR. The only AFR cards in here are Ray of Enfeeblement. I think the deck has a lot going for it and definitely could be a strong contender as something that can really get under Jeskai pretty well. Although I personally struggle piloting the aggro deck against Jeskai. I think it is a good matchup, and it's just something that I'm learning still. So I didn't have a particularly good record with this deck recently, although it was the deck that got me into the top 1200 Mythic to make it into the MIQ for the July season. I actually just played in that MIQ today, and I only went 2-3, but I felt pretty good about winning a couple matches at least, and overall it was just a really fun experience. So thinking about Mono Black Aggro going into the next sort of release, going into Jumpstart Historic Horizons, I think there are probably going to be a number of ways you can improve the deck with the new set. You know, maybe you think about doing something like splashing white for a Priest of Fell Rights, or, you know, maybe you just kind of look through some of the other black cards that are looking pretty nice for the set. But I think overall it's just a little bit of a pretty commonly seen aggro deck problem, which is that it just kind of runs out of gas sometimes, and that tends to be when you lose. You know, you might get your Faceless Haven blocked or something like that. You know, it can go wrong like any deck can. But it's been a blast to pilot. I've really enjoyed it. I hope you had fun watching. I know I had fun playing. And we'll see you here again next week. Thanks for being here in the Evil Empire. This is Evil Empire, signing off.